What is up, everybody? Happy Friday. It is Friday here at Pop Culture Philosophers. That means it's time for the Rex and Robbie show. How you doing, Rex?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I am doing swell on this fantastic Friday. We had a good conversation last night with Sean Lewis, writer of King Spawn and The Scourged. Had a great conversation. We had a Miss Marvel discussion on Wednesday night. It seemed like once again we all loved it. Have you watched any of Miss Marvel yet?
You know what? I have not, unfortunately. I've been meaning to. I'm so backed up with work and then stuff I got to do at home. I did manage to get all the way current on Obi-Wan, but I haven't yet. And I don't kind of want to start when I'm like real tired at night, and the risk of falling asleep on the couch watching it is much greater. So I've been waiting, waiting, and it just seems like it's something that's going to happen over the weekend. I'll have to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm enjoying Miss Marvel. Obi-Wan is another one that I'm enjoying. I don't think it's the greatest thing out there, but I'm enjoying it. What are you thinking overall since you're caught up on it?
I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I like the much meaner Darth Vader. He is mean. Super mean. So
Yeah.
I like that they incorporated. If there are any spoilers, I apologize, but you should be caught up by now if you're a Star Wars fan. But I like the way they incorporated from the last trilogy, the whole using the Force to stop a spaceship kind of thing. That's pretty cool. I find that to be pretty. So to see Darth Vader do it was pretty cool. The lightsaber, not battle, but exercise between Obi-Wan and Anakin was pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that bit.
Yeah, I like that scene. But overall, again, I think I read this initially when they first introduced the young Leia. She has a pretty deep relationship with Obi-Wan in this, and then it makes you go back to the first movie, and Luke's all broken up about Obi-Wan dying, and she doesn't look that broken up.
Yeah.
And clearly she had I would say a deeper relationship with Leia based on this series than Luke had with Obi-Wan.
Yes.
In the first movie. So I think that always kind of is in the back of my mind whenever I see that. He's so concerned he saves her, and oh my gosh, you think Leia in the first movie would be shedding some tears that Obi-Wan was gone. It just
Yeah.
So I understand that was made in 1977 and it's 2022. I get it. And there's no real way you can reconcile that without changing the entire storyline of Obi-Wan. I get that. But it bugs me. I don't know what to tell you. It just bugs me.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Like I said, I enjoy it. I don't think it's the greatest thing out there, but I could nitpick it apart. You could be like, well, you get the idea also in New Hope that Obi-Wan and Vader had never seen each other since, the last time they saw each other. And there's so much to do here, but I did like this last episode. I'm enjoying the series overall. But
Inquisitor, that was a twist. I didn't see that one coming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I figured I figured that was coming just because that dude's apparently in Rebels, which takes place after this or something.
Okay,
so.
I didn't know that, but yeah, so that was a little bit, so that was a little bit of a left turn for me, but so I thought that was good. I liked it. I like that twist. So BJ, Lars, and Cerebros in the house. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the topic today will be Tim Sale. We just found out yesterday that unfortunately Tim Sale has passed away. We found out he had been entered into the hospital on Monday, and sadly they announced yesterday that he has passed away. And Tim Sale was one of my favorite artists out of definitely in my top 25 or 50 or something, right? I think he was an absolutely amazing artist. So we're going to be reflecting on his life, his career, a little bit tonight, today. It's not night, is it? What day is it? But in the midst of our usual Friday banter. So we appreciate everybody being here. Lars says, the first time I read anything by Tim Sale was the Thieves' World's graphic novels, which are not mentioned in his bibliography on Wikipedia. Already then, he became one of my favorite artists. I'm not familiar with those ones. The first time I knew of Tim Sale was during the publication of Superman for All Seasons, which I love. I love that book. And then right after that was Dark Victory. And I started reading Dark Victory and I realized it was a sequel to something called The Long Halloween. And I snatched up that trade right there. And ever since then, I followed his work. And then he went on to do that color series at Marvel. A lot of work, all this with Jeff Loeb, right? And then I remember getting a Dark Horse trade back in the day, Billy 99, and thinking that was pretty cool, especially with the art. I love Tim Sale's artwork. It's different. It was a unique style. At times, some people, like being a retailer, a lot of people didn't look at it and immediately go, oh man, that's exciting, because it wasn't your typical Batman art, but it carried, like with Long Halloween and Dark Victory, it carried the atmosphere and mood of Batman, his rogues, the world of Gotham, and all that kind of stuff. So it is a very tragic and unfortunate loss for us in the industry. Rex, what are your thoughts on Tim Sale?
Clearly he became one of the iconic Batman artists. I think that that the work he did on Batman, and then his work with Jeff Loeb, I think really pushed him to another level. You have a lot of artists, that obviously a lot of creators that work on comics, but a handful of them kind of come to the forefront, and certainly Tim Sale was one of them. 66 years old, that's so young, and I obviously they haven't released cause of death yet. I can't imagine what it may be, but obviously you suspect heart attack, stroke, something like that. Again, this is all just guesswork on my part. They haven't made any kind of announcements. I don't know what the rumor mill is saying, but usually when something suddenly happens like that, it tends to be in that direction,
Yeah.
But that's a shocker. I mean, you don't, these days 66 is we consider it pretty young, so it's a sad statement that this has happened. But again, a guy who's going to be remembered in the comic book world, obviously, for the work that he's done. And, I think even Jim Lee had a statement, as chief creative officer over at DC. So it's always sad to see somebody with the kind of talent that he has had, pass away.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it means that we're not going to get anything, and thoughts out to his family and his friends, a lot of people being impacted by this. It's still very fresh, still very new. But it was just something I'd been thinking about, man. And it's like when I found out yesterday, I got hit the way I got hit when I found out Joe Strummer had passed, right? Obviously we've lost other legends in the industry this year. Just in the last few months, we've lost Neil Adams with George Perez.
Yeah.
And, to me,
not to say anything, but I mean, obviously they were older creators. So you're saddened by it, but you're not quite as shocked. I guess with Tim Sale at 66, it's kind of shocking. It's kind of like when you lose somebody to a car accident, something very sudden, something you don't see coming in a way. It's and not to say anything about George Perez or Neil Adams, but obviously they were older, and it wasn't quite a surprise, if you will. Like if the Queen of England, they say die tomorrow, God forbid, I'm not wishing any ill will. It's not like we're sitting there going, what? It's like, I mean, the woman's 90 something. I mean,
she's one of the longest ruling monarchs now, I think.
I know she is, actually. They just had that platinum jubilee thing. And if you're into that stuff, read about the whole Harry, Meghan debacle and all that. I got to admit it. My mom was a huge royal family fan, so I find myself reading the stories on the internet.
You read the tabloids and stuff. Is that what you're saying, Rex?
My mom used to have a stack of tabloids right by the couch in our house. Would be a stack of tabloids, the Star, the Inquirer. She loved that stuff, and anything with the royal family on it. She she grew up in Hong Kong, so during that period of time, it was still a British colony. So she had this fascination. I mean, the Queen of England was on Hong Kong dollars, banknotes back then. So she kind of had an interest. So I find myself, it just inadvertently just passed on to me. So I read all this stuff as well. But
I used to love the Weekly World News because they always had like the Bat Boy and the UFO stuff and time travel.
I go grocery shopping with my mom, and you just reading the headlines like, ooh, alien.
Thank you for joining us, Mikey. Mikey says, this has been a hard 6 weeks for the comic book community. Tim hits different, though. He was young and is so important to what we have in DC post-90s. I agree, because what I was going to say is, it is still unfortunate for George Perez and Neil Adams, but when I was coming up into comics, they were already like the generation before, right? Tim Sale was part of some of the first artists that I was into, like after like the John Byrne, Jim Lee, and then going into, I don't mean this in a negative way, but a more sophisticated reading of comics, right? Tim Sale was one of those first artists that I was like, this is something really, really interesting and different. And I loved Long Halloween. And then when you look at the work in Long Halloween, and then you look at it in Superman for All Seasons, it's different. Like, and it's Tim Sale was able to take the tone of the hero and the hero's world and bring it into the artwork. He did that with Daredevil Yellow and Spider-Man Blue and Hulk Gray. And he recently had just did Captain America White. And then they just recently, I guess his last work that I'm aware of was the Batman Long Halloween special that they did last year after they released. I think they did the movie last year, right? And we actually did a Comics Revisited on Long Halloween. And me personally, I'm also hit too, because like I'm going to Heroes Con next week and he was going to be a guest there. So I was ready. Like I was already thinking about what I was going to bring. And then for something like this to happen, and it's just like, you never know, man. And it makes you realize how sudden some things can happen and how not to take anybody or anything for granted. You know what I'm saying? And just remember the importance of now, because now is what we always have. And that's all we'll ever have, is just now, and I've lost people in my life, and it's a terrible thing. And I've lost people that we knew it was coming and people that was very, very sudden. And, man, it just sucks. It really sucks. It sucks to have one of your favorite artists when they're not even done. You know what I'm saying? Find out.
Yeah. It's like with George Perez, the announcement came out, obviously, that he was going to cease treatments. And a totally understandable decision, obviously. So that when he passed, I think we were all kind of, I don't want to say ready, but we had time to prepare for that news, and it wasn't, obviously a surprise. We knew that eventually, we didn't know when, but when he, made the decision to cease treatments, that this was going to be around the corner. It's around the corner for all of us, but we kind of, you kind of make that guess. But in this instance, it happened on a Monday. I think we were actually doing a show, right? When Nick came in and told us.
Yeah.
Or was it Wednesday show? I don't remember. But Nick found out.
Yeah, that was Monday.
Was it Monday? And then for him to pass away, a couple days later is shocking. And given his age, is shocking. It's who just wrote that Lars just wrote that, he was inspired by Frank Miller, and when you think about that, I mean, Frank is still around, thank God. But that shows you just how young he was and how sudden these things can sort of happen. And it's a shame. And, Mikey, I would agree with, everything he said. It's the suddenness of it, I think, that really makes it a little bit different this time. Even though with Neil Adams, we had not heard, or it was not public knowledge, if he was ill or whatever the case may be. But certainly with George Perez it was. But Tim Sale, it's just like, it's the same feeling if they had told us he had died in a car accident. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not something you thought was coming. You figured he had, quite a few years, just like Perez, just like Neil Adams, before he was done.
Yeah. As far as some of his works, he did along with Jeff Loeb, before they did the Batman work, they were doing this Wolverine Gambit miniseries. I remember that coming out, and getting into that a little bit later on. They did the series of like 3 Legends of the Dark Knight one-shots together that led to Batman Long Halloween. Those are collected in like Batman Haunted Night or something. They've just done these really nice like new hardcovers, oversized hardcovers of their work. And Dark Victory was something I loved. And of course, Long Halloween. So some of my favorites works, of course, Long Halloween.
That's going to get stacked up.
Yeah. And then Superman for All Seasons. And in this one, to see it's still his style, but it's handled in a different way. And so it's the world of Superman and Metropolis against the world of Batman and Gotham. And it's such a great story. And then out of all the Marvel stuff they did, Spider-Man Blue by far is one of my favorite Spider-Man books, and Daredevil Yellow. So I love these. And this was the one I was going to get him to sign this year if I got to meet him. So I never got to meet him. But this is the one I was talking about last week that Joe Quesada had signed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was going to get Tim to sign it, and that sucks, man. It just sucks. It's not my personal loss. I mean, it's all of our losses, right? But I really feel for his family right now, too.
Right. Yeah, I do as well. I mean, it's most of us, we do some sort of work that is not something you see in the public, and that's not not to say that it's not important. It doesn't have relevance, and certainly your own family, your loved ones, your friends, they're hurt when something like this happens. But when you talk about somebody like Tim Sale or George Perez or Neil Adams, the work that they did was something that millions of people would see and would love and have seen over the years. So the work that they did was something that made people happy. And so you think about that, when somebody close to you, a family member passes, you think about that, all the things that they won't get to do with you, they won't get to see, whether they be grandchildren or anything else. Tim Sale there, as somebody, I think maybe it was Mikey or somebody wrote, BJ, he had so much work to do, so much art for us to see, so many more comics to create, that all of that's just gone. Now, will there be somebody else that will wow us? Of course there will be, but it will never, really be a Tim Sale. It's just it's so sudden. It's really sad. Hey, Kenneth, what's going on, buddy?
What were some of your favorite Tim Sale books that you liked?
I like the period when, obviously he kind of, and Batman's been redefined so many times, but I think that in a way his artwork brought something different. So I really knew him through his work there, and the stuff he did with Jeff Loeb in over at Marvel as well. There are a few artists that just jump out at you, like Neil Adams had redefined Batman for me when I was a kid. John Byrne kind of redefined a lot of different characters, FF, X-Men, and Tim Sale, was able to kind of, because you see, Batman obviously being a character in the comic book world for so long, he's been redefined many times, and sometimes he's redefined, you don't even notice. Okay, but Tim was one of those guys in line with a Neil Adams, a Frank Miller, that redefined him through his artwork. So it's sad. It feels like the last few years we've lost a lot of people, not just in the comic book world, but everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just something I've noticed more, something to do with the pandemic. Obviously, we lost a lot of people due to that, but it just feels like, maybe it's something generational. I don't know. Just it feels like it's already been a tough year to 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We do want to hear your comments. So be sure to comment below or participate in the chat right now. Your thoughts on Tim Sale, like your experience with his work and this loss and how it affects you. And of course, anybody who comments on this video or participates in the chat will be entered to win the contest on Monday night's show over at the EXP, Comic Collectibles with Dynamic Forces, Rex, John, and Rocket. So, yes, and I was just, actually, Lars, the new Grendel Omnibus collections just started coming out this week, the paperback in their full size again, because they used to do them in digest size. And one of the first stories in there was a Tim Sale from the black, white, and red stuff. And man, and I was thinking about it. And, at that point, we knew he was in the hospital, and it just sucks. What's up, Perry? How are you doing? Thank you all for being here today. I want to, real quick, we'll just read some of the statements that some of the industry has made. So DC released a statement saying Tim Sale was an incredible artist whose take on iconic characters had real human depth, and his groundbreaking page designs changed the way an entire generation thinks about comic book storytelling. I 100% agree with that. Jim Lee says Tim Sale was an amazing artist, draftsman, and storyteller. He had that special kind of talent you encounter once in a generation. I'm convinced his work stood out because he was simply fearless. He didn't care that his work looked different from mainstream house styles. And that was something that I always responded to in his work. Adam Hughes says, many today speak of the late great Tim Sale. Some mention what a great guy he was. Others mention what a great comic artist he was. Let me add, Tim Sale was cool. How cool? Once over dinner, he dropped that he had seen the Beatles in concert. It's pretty cool, actually.
That is pretty cool.
let's see, there was a couple more I want. Yeah, Walt Simonson said, Tim Sale, as everybody knows by now, has caught the last train out. He was an outstanding artist and storyteller. And as usual, when someone like Tim catches the train out, we are all a little poorer for his departure. Godspeed. And Matt Wagner, who was a close friend with him, said, hey, gang, today I'm incredibly sad to learn of the passing of Tim Sale, an extraordinary artist and one of my dearest friends for the past 35 years. Tim was like a brother to me. We spent so many hours over the course of our friendship on the phone and online. So a lot of people in the industry feeling this effect. All I've ever heard about Tim Sale was how good and cool and awesome he was, right? And you hear this over and over. And we all hear stories about people in the industry, but there's only a few where you hear those kind of stories, like your Mark Grunwalds, and your George Perez, like people that you just hear from everybody. They are amazingly cool and just really good people. I also know that he was a big Seattle Mariners fan. So they have lost one of their best fans. So that's unfortunate.
It's a sad day. I mean, and who was it? Maybe it was BJ. I forget who said it. Maybe it was Lars about how these last few months have been rather rough with everybody we've lost in the comic book world. So, I mean, the best thing that anyone can do is just probably the best way to conduct a memorial in the comic book world is go back, reread those Tim Sale titles.
Yes.
That's probably the best honor we can all give them.
Absolutely. We encourage everybody today, this weekend, take some time, read some Tim Sale work, and just remember the amazing artwork that we were given throughout his life and his career. Man, it's kind of a sad episode, Rex.
I know, man. It's a downer.
Yeah, a little bit of a downer, but I thought it was important because I can't stop thinking about it. And I'm excited to dive into the Grindel stuff because I've never really read a lot of Grindel in order. So I'm going to get that omnibus, and he's got some work in there.
Yeah,
so
I don't think I've read anything other than his Batman and his Marvel stuff. So, that's probably something I'm going to do as well. There's really nothing you can say. It really is just part of life. It's, unfortunately, death. Again, shocked. 66. That's young these days. Just kind of shocked. I guess eventually we'll find out the cause of death, but it's not. I guess really not very important at this point.
Yeah, no, it's not. And we've lost a lot of great people in this industry recently, and just over the last several years. He was good friends with Darwin Cook, and that was a loss that hit too. And times like this, it's also important to remember how important comic book creators are to pop culture, to our enjoyment of entertainment and things like that. And we don't need to just always remember them when they're gone. We got to remember them when they're still here. So go and visit a comic book artist, go and buy some comics, and let's take care of these people, these legends that have given us so much in our lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, go to a con. I mean, keep in mind that up until the breakout of Image and a lot of the indie publishers, the focus was never on the creators, and many of them, they're struggling artists just like other artists. Some have made it just like some artists have made it. But predominantly you don't do this, because you're looking to get rich. There are probably far easier ways to get rich. You do this because you have a gift for it. God gave you a gift for it, and you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And those of us that are fans, we enjoy reading it.
So go hug a comic book artist as soon as you can. As long as they give you consent.
Yeah. Disclaimer.
All right, Rex, do you want to draw the winner now from the Monday night show?
The prize will be a random Dynamite premium metal book.
All right.
I
like that. A random Dynamite premium metal book. Those metal books are sharp.
And do you mean that in a artistic sense, or do you mean that in a physical sense?
I mean it literally and figuratively. All right, got it loaded up.
Wait, Perry Comics. Okay, but we want to have a disclaimer on this show that we cannot guarantee that you will not be arrested.
All right. And yeah, I got Perry's address, by the way. He won the Monday night contest. So I'm going to send that to you, Rex, as soon as we drop out here.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. And Perry, no hug necessary.
All right. We Rupenstein is the winner.
Awesome. We're
Nice.
Rupenstein.
And all you had to do was be part of the chat on Monday night show. And that's why we Rupenstein won. And then being in part today's chat and in the comments, drop a comment. You'll be entered to win. We'll announce that on Monday night show. You want to just real quick tell everybody about Monday night, Rex?
So Monday night we'll be on The Experience with Robbie. Always joins us Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, on our YouTube channel, The Experience, the_EXP. And also tonight, if you are an original art fan, we have our original art show from 7 to 8, and there will be, for no purchase necessary, there will be a giveaway, a piece of Hulk artwork will be given away to the lucky winner. You just got to watch, and you'll learn there how to enter the drawing. No purchases necessary, but it's 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on the original on The Experience, the original art show with Nick.
Yeah.
So,
and it's a Ron Garney Hulk piece too.
I forget who the artist is on the piece, but
he showed it on Monday. I think it's the Ron Garney one. I think it's inked by Sal Buscema.
I think it was Ron Garney as well. But yeah, once again, all you got to do is watch the show. They'll give you instructions. I'm gonna guess, and I don't know, but usually we do the hashtag thing. So there'll be a keyword, a hashtag. You throw it up in the chat. They'll spin the wheel, and we'll pick a lucky winner. And all you have to do is watch the show and enter whatever hashtag they tell you on the chats. And
absolutely.
You'll be in for a chance to win the original piece of art by I think Ron Garney. I think Robbie's right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is from that like Paul Jenkins run, I believe, which I thought was absolutely fantastic run. Or maybe it was the John Byrne. Anyway, it's from that run. So check out Nick's show tonight, the original comic art show. I'm sure he'll be sharing some of his thoughts on Tim Sale as well. And then join us Monday night over at The Experience, link in the description below. Tomorrow night, Dylan's horror show. We're talking about Horror Express, starring Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. And then right after the show, Monday night, join us for PCP Movie Night, where we're talking about Saint Maud, which is an A24 film I've never seen or heard of, Rex, but I really, really enjoyed it.
I haven't either. I have to tune in for that one.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that one. It's on Paramount Plus, by the way, if anybody wants to check that one out. And that's it. So, Rex, thank you again for joining us here on Fridays. Everybody, there won't be a show next Friday because I'll be in Heroes Con. Sorry. But we'll be back the week after that. And I got a cool topic already lined up that's going to be way more uplifting than today's, I'm sure. All right, Rex. Thank you for joining us, buddy.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.